I held the steering wheel hard, my knuckles white against the broken leather as the snow blasted across the windshield in thick, blinding sheets. 8 hours. 8 friggin' hours I'd been driving through this catastrophe. All for her. For Camille, my wife. It was her birthday weekend, and she'd gone off to some cabin in the woods with her companions. I pictured it the whole way, her face lighting up. That small, shocked gasp she makes when I do something unexpected. The way she'd fling her arms around me and proclaim me her hero. I had a box of her favorite cake, chocolate with raspberry filling, laying on the passenger seat. The edges were a little damaged from the uneven roads, but still perfect. Perfect enough to make her happy. I'd always been the sensible guy, not the romantic. She occasionally chided me for that. But this was me trying. This was love, wasn't it? The storm didn't matter. The cold didn't matter. None of it did. As long as I could see her, pleased. The cabin came into view, after what felt like forever. A small wooden thing hidden amid pines, smoke flowing from the chimney. I parked the truck, grabbed the cake box, and trekked through the snow, my boots sinking deep with every stride. My jeans were saturated by the time I reached the door, but I didn't care. I could already hear her voice inside, that brilliant giggle of hers piercing through the muted calm of the snow. I didn't knock. Why would I? This was my moment. I pushed the door open. The warmth struck my face, the cake box, damp in my hands, and I walked into the threshold. Then I froze. Camille was seated there on the couch, a drink of wine in her hand, her head thrown back laughing. Her pals were spread around her, Blair, Lena, a couple others I faintly recognized, all giggling like they were in on some great secret. God, I hope he crashes, Camille said, her voice crisp and casual. Like she was chatting about the weather. I could use the insurance. Blair didn't even pause. She just smirked and replied, for at least a few months of silence. The room erupted in laughter, loud, harsh, bouncing off the wooden walls. My chest clenched, like someone had hit me directly in the ribs. I stood there, snow dripping from my coat onto the floor, the cake box suddenly feeling heavy and dumb in my hands. They didn't see me at first. I could have backed out, could have pretended I hadn't heard it, but my feet wouldn't move. Camille's words kept playing in my brain. I hope he crashes. And every chuckle from her friends drove it deeper, like a razor, twisting in, until Blair gazed up. Her eyes latched onto mine. Her sneer faltered for half a second. "Oh," she whispered. That's when Camille turned. Her face didn't light up. No gasp. No arms around me. Just a glimmer of something. Surprise, maybe. Displeasure. Before she covered it with a tight little smile. "You're here," she murmured. Like I'd disturbed something. I didn't say anything. What was there to say? My throat felt thick. My tongue stuck to the roof of my mouth. I walked past them, the cake box brushing against my wet pants, and laid it down on the kitchen counter with a gentle thud. The room was quiet for a time, but I didn't look back. I could feel their eyes on me, could hear the unanswered questions lingering in the air. But I didn't care. I turned and walked out the door, sliding it shut behind me. The cold stung my flesh again. The snow seeped through. My clothes even more as I trudged back to the truck. My breath poured out in ragged clouds. Wrath surged up inside me, scorching and bitter, mixing with something else. Grief, maybe. Or just plain hurt. I slid into the driver's seat, shut the door, and glanced at the cabin through the windshield. The lights glowed warm against the snow, like nothing had happened, like I hadn't just heard my wife wish me dead. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I just sat there, letting the snow pile up on the hood, feeling it all melt together. The love I'd carried for 8 hours, The hope I'd pinned on that dumb cake. The life I thought we had. It was gone. Buried by her words. Under their laughs. I started the engine, the rumble loud in the calm, and pulled away. The storm swallowed the cabin behind me, and I let it. I didn't know where I was heading, not yet. But I knew I wasn't coming back. Not to her. Not to that. 8 hours for silence. Well, she'd get it now. So I conducted the drive. The cake. What Camille said. How I'd walked out. Daniela didn't flinch, just scribbled notes, her pen moving fast. "You want a divorce?" she asked when I finished. Straight to the point. I hesitated. Did I? Yesterday? I'd have said no. Today, I wasn't so sure. "I want to know what I'm dealing with first," I told her. She nodded like she'd heard it 100 times before and said she'd get me in touch with someone who could help. That someone was Leo, a forensic accountant Daniela swore by. We saw him that afternoon. Tiny office, papers stacked everywhere. A coffee mug teetering on a pile of files. He seemed younger than I thought, with a quick smile and a handshake that felt like he meant it. "Let's see what we've got," he said, pulling up a chair. I gave him access to everything. Our joint accounts, my logins, the works. I'd already changed the passwords last night, but I hadn't delved into the details. Leo did. His fingers rushed across the keyboard, pulling up statements, tracking transactions, mumbling to himself as he worked. I just sat there, sipping awful coffee, watching numbers race across the screen. It didn't take long for his muttering to stop. "Good," he remarked, leaning back. "She's been busy." Turns out, Camille had been moving money for over a year. Modest amounts at first, $50 here, $100 there, into a private savings account I didn't even know existed. Then it got bolder. $500 after I earned the bonus last spring. $1,000 after we refinanced the house. Leo showed me the trail. Obvious as day. Her name was tied to every transfer. "She wasn't subtle," he said, almost impressed. "Most people try to disguise it better." I stared at the screen, my stomach churning. This wasn't just a nasty joke in the cabin. This was planned, purposeful. She'd been building something, a small nest egg, while I was out there buying cakes thinking we were a team. "How much?" I asked, my voice hoarse. Leo hit a few buttons. "Roughly 20 grand, give or take." 20 grand. I let that sink in, the restaurant coffee now tasting sour in my mouth. All those late hours I'd worked. All those times I'd told her we'd save up for a trip or a new car. She'd been siphoning money off, bit by bit. Daniela bent over, examining the numbers. "This alters things," she said. "If you go for divorce, this is leverage, separate property, hidden assets. She's in danger." I didn't say anything, just nodded. I wasn't ready to decide yet, but I needed to know more. "Keep digging," I told Leo. He grinned, like he lived for this kind of